You're listening to The Dating Den with dating and relationship badass and best-selling author Marni Batista. Every week, you'll get the raw truth from top experts and real people on the important dating, sex, and relationship issues you want to know about. So if you're ready for true talk that's authentic and unfiltered, and you're not afraid to be called out on your stuff, then you're ready for what's next.
The Dating Den with Connell Barrett. The inside scoop from a male dating coach on how to create connection with a quality guy. Ladies, I have an amazing guy, the answer to your dreams in the Dating Den with me. You have said, who is there to help men? These men who send you dick pics and their online profiles have selfie shots in mirrors without the six-pack. These guys, they need help, and Connell Barrett is that guy. He is the founder and executive coach of Dating Transformation, and what he does is he teaches men, hallelujah, to unlock their most confident, authentic selves too, just like I do it, so they can connect with wonderful women without being creepy or doing like that pickup society thing. He's all about dating with totally integrity. You can see that we're very similar in our approach. Connell also says the reason why he can fix any dating problem is because he's had every dating problem. He was shy, dateless, and lonely. I love this. He says he didn't live in the friend zone. He owned a condo there. And you all know that I talk about the comfy, cozy condo that you guys get in. Well, apparently, across the hall, Connell was living there in his condo, a friend zone. So, and then he finally found a woman who liked him. He married her, and then she dumped him 9 weeks later. And then finally, he figured it out, and he embarked on a year-long globe-trotting quest to understand the art of male-female connection. And he's super excited to tell you about what men really want. By the way, he's also been on Access Hollywood and the Today Show, and he has a book coming out for men. He's got a weekly advice column called Ask the Dating Coach. So he is at our service. So Connell, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel like there's a lot of pressure now after that introduction. So I should speak in Shakespearean iambic pentameter or something fancy to do justice.
Oh my God. So
I'm really
funny.
glad to be with you.
That's funny. I've been binge watching Schitt's Creek. Did you ever watch that?
Love Schitt's Creek.
Yeah. And so I told my husband I want to talk like Moira Rose, right? Like, in iambic pentameter. Welcome, Connell.
Please dress like her.
Oh my God. I don't even understand that, because if she didn't have any money like 5 years ago, how come her clothes aren't outdated?
It's the mystery. I love that show because the brother and sister are almost exactly the same. They're like the new Frasier and Niles Crane. Let's just talk about Schitt's Creek.
I know, right? And their facial experiences. It's so good. Okay. Anyway, so let's talk about this. So when men come to you, and what are the problems that men say they're having dating? Because our listeners think that, men live on like Glory Island and they have no problems and they're just out there, calling the shots. So what are problems that men have?
The two biggest problems I come across are one's internal, one's external. Biggest one is lack of confidence, feeling unattractive to women in general, or fearing that he's unattractive to women. And I think that's a universal thing we all feel to an extent at different times in our lives. But men who come to me definitely feel like, oh, wow, I really would love to date the Marni Batistas of the world, but man, she's out of my league. She'd never like me. So that's one problem.
Okay.
The other external problem is, Connell, how do you talk to girls? What do I say? What do I text? What's the smooth line? How do I get her attracted? It's basically some variation of what do I write or say. So it's internal confidence and external, what the hell do you talk about, basically.
They need skills.
They think they need skills. They actually don't need the skills they think they need. So guys, a big myth that men deal with, and I wonder if women feel the same way, you tell me, is feeling like everything has to be incredibly witty and funny and amazingly entertaining all the time. And I tell guys, it's okay to not be always on with every word you say. If anything, if you try too hard on a date to entertain her, you're going to come across as try hard and inauthentic. It's okay to just like lower the bar. You're on a date. You're not doing a TED Talk. You're not doing a stand-up comedy routine. You're just chatting about each other, basically, you and her, and lower the bar, basically. And I wonder if women feel the same.
Well, I think that, here's the thing. I think that women, want to be asked questions. And so I think when a guy shows up, like he has to be the center of attention and be funny or show her how successful he is or how whatever. He's so focused on the him show that he forgets to be interested in her. And then she'll be like, oh my God, all he did was talk about himself or whatever it is. And it's really interesting. Like, so what do you think that men, when they are coming at it from their place of authenticity, like, what are they really attracted to? Like, what makes a guy feel comfortable on a date so that he can be like himself, that he doesn't feel like he's being judged?
What makes a guy feel comfortable has to come from inside. He has to realize the value he offers, as cheesy as that sounds. And then if he lets go and realizes, hey, no matter how this date goes, I'm still a cool guy and some women are going to like me, then he can basically give himself permission. And this leads me to a quick story. You just mentioned how a lot of guys try to impress. They try to show off. There's an anecdote in my book where I'm out with a client, Jake, on a rooftop bar in LA. It's our first night together. I'm on wingman duty. Basically, I take guys out and I help them meet women, but first I watch what they can do on their own without any coaching. And so we hit the top of a rooftop bar in the Hollywood Hills, and Jake, who's a very successful surgeon in LA, he walks up to a couple of beautiful women and drinking dirty martinis, and he walks over, and his quote-unquote pickup line is he takes his business card out.
That already made me feel a little sick in my stomach, but go ahead.
He takes his business card out, hands it to them, and said, "Hi, I'm a plastic surgeon."
Oh.
A Beverly Hills plastic surgeon, and gave them the card. And these two women looked at each other, and one of them actually kind of covered her nose, thinking, is he here looking for clients?
Oh, God.
And then they realized, oh, dude, that's your pickup line? You're trying to impress us with your job, with your money, with your status. And they basically pieced out at that point. And I tell that story because a lot of men think they need to impress women. And really what that comes down to is guys like that, and God love him, Jake had an amazing turnaround later that night, is they think that they're not enough based on who they are, the emotions they can share and their personality and their experiences. So many men think I'm going to try to impress her into liking me, rather than connect with her by being truly authentic and seeing if our energies mingle. Does that make sense?
It really does make total sense. And I think that it's that whole, so I'm just laughing because, there's two people on a date. One is like, let me impress you, here's my business card. And the other one is like, pick me. I hope you're not a douchebag like all the other guys I dated. Right. And it's like, no wonder there's so many like missed opportunities. So when a woman is connecting, like, let's just say some guy doesn't know Connell yet, and so he makes an oops and he says some douchey thing like that. But our ladies want to be open-minded because Jake isn't a jerk. He's just misguided or has a lack of self-confidence. So if somebody shows up on a date and they're just sucking, I love the title of your book, by the way. Like, dating sucks, but you don't. That's so awesome. I'm like, damn, I wish I had thought of that. But anyway,
advertising.
Totally. So what can a woman do? Like, she's on a date, and this guy is just like leaking his lack of confidence by overcompensating. Is there any way she can save it for him?
Yeah, she should do what a woman once did for me. So I came from, as you mentioned at the intro, I came from a really low place. I had really low self-confidence, and I just didn't think women liked me. And then I overcorrected. I worked with tons of different coaches, some of them who were kind of douchey, pickup artisty types. And I overcorrected, and I became, for a while, just arrogant. I was doing a shtick.
Yeah.
I was putting on a mask. And I remember having a date one night with this first date at a cool lounge in Manhattan. And in my mind, I was hilarious. I wasn't that chody, wimpy guy from before who wanted to be liked, but I'd gone the other way. I was arrogant. I was acting cooler than her. I don't remember anything I said specifically, but there was just a lot of shtick. There was a lot of game. Like
Okay.
nags, that kind of thing. I probably negged her, tried to make her feel insecure. And
Yeah.
had a lot of,
Oh, God, you were like one of those PUA guys.
I learned, I trained with a lot of those guys.
Oh,
I learned what to do and also what not to do from them. It's like the PUA. Yeah, the PUA. I like
PUA, the pickup artist. Okay, go ahead. That's what we call it in the industry. Okay, go ahead.
And she turned to me and she said, "Does this work?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She basically said, "Why can't you just be yourself?
Oh, I love it.
Why are you putting on this shtick?" And at the time, I tried to double down on it, and I was like, "What are you talking about? What shtick do you mean, girl?" Something like that. I probably talk like that.
Oh my God.
And I cringe now when I tell the story, but I'm so glad she actually was trying to be helpful to me. She was trying to tell me, dude, just be yourself. It's a cliche, but she was trying to say, look, you don't need to put the shtick on. She's trying to say what basically my message is to men, which is women like you for you. Women like you for you. So show me you, she was trying to say, and let's see if we hit it off. But I was still in the learning process and trying to figure it out. So back to your question, if a woman is dealing with a guy and she feels like she's talking to this alpha male, cool PUA guy, a guy who's been on too many Reddit pages or watched too many YouTube videos about how to talk to women, she should just say to him, why don't you drop the act and show me the real you?
Oh my God, I love that. And you could say it nice, right? You don't have to come off like bitchy or condescending. Just like really say it from the heart.
Totally. And I still remember this vividly. I didn't make the correction that night, but it did stay with me. And I thought about her a lot, or I thought about her comment a lot. And it was a really beautifully graceful, generous thing she said. She didn't walk out. She didn't say you're an asshole. She was trying to help me. So for the women out there who meet that kind of guy, he's acting that way because it's coming from an insecure place, most likely. He's afraid to be vulnerable. He's afraid to show his real self. So be the better person and say, hey, Jake, or whatever his name is, can you maybe show me the real you instead of whatever this is? I'll show you mine if you show me yours, your realness. Make it something that's reciprocal. And that might be a needed splash of cold water on that guy's face.
Oh my God, I love it. Let me ask you this. So I was just on a YouTube channel thing with another amazing dating coach, and Matthew Coast. I'd never met him before. He had these women asking live questions, and they asked this question that we get all the time. And it was some version of, what happens if a guy dates me and we're dating for, we've gone on 5 dates, but he's dating other women? Or what do I do if a guy that I'm interested in isn't ready to commit and is, living 5,000 miles away from me? Like, what happens if, and I just wonder, because I always say why is he doing that? Like, I don't know, and I'm just curious, since you work with men, how would you answer those kinds of questions to the ladies who just want to understand why men do whatever it is that they do that makes them feel rejected?
Let me ask you this. What are the top one or two questions that women ask you about men or want to know about men? And
why did they disappear? Right? Why did they ghost? Why did they disappear? Why did they say I want to get married and then and then pull back? So I think let's just start with why do men disappear?
I think men ghost. I think women do this too, but I think men do it because ghosting happens because a person is afraid to deal with the discomfort of saying something that the other person might not want to hear. And that might make the first person feel uncomfortable, awkward. They've lost interest or they have conflicting interests, and they don't want to be a man and say, you know what, I I'm not feeling it the way I wanted to, and I really don't think we should date anymore. But I think you're a wonderful person. It's hard to have that conversation, and I've done that in the past. I made a no ghosting rule years ago, but I've made some selfish choices, and usually we're trying to protect ourselves from pain or discomfort. So it's really easy for most guys to pursue a woman if he's interested, as long as he believes in himself. It's much, much harder to be a man and say, hey, you know what, I've lost interest, or I just don't feel like that connection that I want. So what they do is they go quiet. This just happened to me actually recently. I just posted about this on Instagram. I was about to have my first post-lockdown date about a week and a half ago.
Okay.
With a woman from Bumble. I'll call her Annie. And Annie and I had a great phone conversation. We had tons of messages back and forth. She even texted me 3 nights before the date saying, hey, I'm cautiously optimistic about Thursday. Looking forward to it. And I was so psyched to get back out there because I'm newly vaccinated. And then she went ice cold, totally quiet 2 days before. Didn't respond to several messages. And assuming nothing terrible happened to her, which is always possible, and I certainly hope that's not the case, she just basically something shifted inside of her, and for whatever reason, she wasn't as into me as she thought, or maybe there's another guy in the picture. She just didn't want to sort of break it to me, so she went quiet. And so I think she did that probably because I hope she ghosted me, because if something bad happened, that would be much, much worse.
Yes.
I can take it. I have thick skin. I can handle it. Don't get me wrong. I felt it, but I think people do it because they don't want to deal with awkwardness, negative emotions, feeling bad that they have to break bad news. So they take the path of least resistance. That's typically what causes ghosting.
I love that. And also I love that you're sharing your own vulnerability. Women don't understand that women ghost, and that I know that a lot of our listeners
dating coaches get ghosted too.
They do. And I think that women ghost too. And it's almost as if they have selective blindness to their own behaviors. Right? Because, I decided that I wasn't really interested in him that same way, but I felt uncomfortable and he was so nice. So of course I said, I'd love to go out again or whatever it is. And I think, it's about dating karma, right? And about being respectful. I always say, and you just said it so well, I have thick skin. I think that we're doing a huge disservice to the other human. We're not assuming they can be a grown-up and just take the truth, which is kind of disrespectful. Like saying, I'm going to ignore you because I don't think you can handle rejection is kind of lame. So, if you were going to give the message to the women that are listening about, what to say if it's not a match, that allows a guy to have his feelings and also, handle it. Is there a great way to say you're not interested?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a great way to say it is make it about the chemistry, which is you're reframing it as it's not about you. You have value. You're attractive to plenty of people, but you're not my cup of tea. And I wouldn't say you're not my cup of tea,
yeah.
But I would say something to the effect of, you want to close the door, but close it gently. Don't slam it shut, but close the door and say, hey, I've been thinking, and I feel like we have, there's a lack of chemistry that's just sort of either there or it's not, and it's nobody's fault. So I don't think we should continue dating, or I don't think we should have another date, but you're clearly a wonderful, attractive person, and I know you're going to find somebody as awesome as you. Saying something like that.
That's so amazing.
You might even. I forget who came up with this term. Somebody referred to the breakup's a strong word, but the bad news sandwich is put a couple of pieces of bread around the meat of the message, right?
Yes.
It's hey, Mike. Wow, what a fun conversation I had with you last night. That was incredible. It was so great meeting up and laughing about XYZ. But I have to be honest with you, I wasn't feeling that romantic chemistry. That's either there or it's not. but I know you're going to find somebody amazing because you're a great guy, and I wish you the best of luck. Something like that. That I'm not saying that won't sting Mike at all, but it shows a lot of class, and it also makes it what it does. Every single one of us, I believe, on this planet, we're all wired to need to feel special, significant, important, worthy, in other words. And we want to be very careful about people we date and, to the best of our abilities, protect their sense of worth, because it's so precious and it's so important. So you don't want to say to someone, I'm not attracted to you.
Yeah.
You're not good enough for me. Not that anybody would, mostly, for the most part. But the problem with ghosting is sometimes people will make that, if you ghost somebody, they might make that wrong misinterpretation and feel like, oh, I guess they ghosted me because I suck, because I'm unworthy, I'm not lovable. And I think ending a courtship or ending after a date or two, you can do it in a way that helps them maintain their sense of worth, but also lets them know, hey, it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about chemistry. Chemistry really is almost magical force. You really can't force it. It's either there or it's not. And I like to frame it. I like to make it about the chemistry, not about you're not good enough, because hell, who am I to say that? We're all good enough, I think, for the right person.
I love that. This is so great. So, and when a quality guy, how can a woman tell that a guy is actually looking for a serious relationship, that he's, people will say, I want a guy who's done the work.
Right.
How can a woman be discerning without being picky? Because I think a lot of our listeners miss out on really great guys because they're picky.
I think I love candor. I love direct people. I would advise women to ask a man, if she's not sure where his head is at, is he playing the field? Is he looking for a rotation? Does he want to get married by Saturday? You want to know where his head is at in general. So just ask him straight up. Say something like, hey, I'm curious. Are you looking for a long-term relationship, or are you just looking to date around? Either one's fine. You want to give that guy an opportunity to answer that question. And high-quality men respect directness. Men are very logical, analytical creatures. We like directness and simplicity. So being direct with that guy and just straight up asking him, not in a suspicious way, but sort of with a, hey, just curious, are you looking to get into a serious relationship, or are you more into like playing the field mode? Who knows? The guy might be one or the other. And let's hope he's honest and transparent. I'm dealing with this right now because I'm on dating apps and I'm a dating coach. And I have that on my profile. I'm happy to that's who I am.
Right.
So I get this when I match with a woman lately. I'm getting a lot of, hey, are you really here to date, or are you doing research?
Right. Well, I'm sure. Oh my God, I cannot even imagine. But
I respect the question.
Yeah.
I totally respect the question. And I'm like, hey, I totally get why you're asking. And I say something to the effect of, hey, no, I'm the real life Hitch looking for his Eva Mendes.
Oh.
Then I have been in research mode on the dating apps, been doing it more casually, but I'm more in LTR territory now. So, and I love it when women ask, because I like to give them the gift of just honesty, clarity, so they can take that and decide if they want to meet me or not.
You're going to have to check your DMs, Connell, because I think there'd be a whole lot of women sliding in. You're like, oh, it sounds so cute. So let me ask you this. So a quality guy, you're going to ask him, like, where are you in your life? And he's going to be transparent. I have a pet peeve, but I think it might just be like a bias. So I want to run it by you. I think when a guy says, like, I'm not really looking for anything, but if I met the right person, like, I would totally like want to settle down. And I always say that's like a disclaimer for playing the field, but I'm totally open to being so wrong. Because that's a very sort of like half in, half out answer. If a woman hears that, what follow-up questions could she ask?
She should assume that you're right.
Okay. I love it when I'm right.
Congratulations. Yeah, you're very right. I think that most men, I shouldn't say most men, many men are looking to keep their options open. I certainly was for a period of time. I think that a lot of men, once they go out and start dating, if they have success, depending on how they're wired, a lot of guys are wired for variety. They like Baskin Robbins a lot more than having one flavor of ice cream. Those guys want to play the field a bit and quote unquote experience dating and have different partners. And that's totally fine as long as you're honest with women who you do meet and let them know where you stand. Because there are women like that too who might want to just keep things more casual and not commit to anything. So, but yes, you're right. That's what you just described is basically code for really not looking to settle down unless something changes inside of him. So
it's like leaving breadcrumbs. It's
word.
like leaving breadcrumbs, right? Because you're like, yeah, like sleep with me. Like, do you like my like Casanova voice? Sleep with me. Like say yes a couple of times. Bring me Chinese food and we'll watch the game. Wink, wink. Okay. So I have another question for you. I have so many.
Great.
I'm just laughing because it's like I'm making you like represent all men. So I apologize.
Well, I contain multitudes, like Whitman said.
I love it.
All men. I've been a player. I've been a loser. I've been all over the map. So I kind of
so good. I call that Connell. I call that manvolution. You've man-volved.
Nice.
Right?
Now, yeah, that's like a great Beatles song. You say you want a manvolution.
Yeah,
I like it.
I love it. I think you need to be on my man panel. Okay, we'll set that up later. Okay, so question. When a woman is dating a guy and he is texting too much or quote unquote too nice, some women who are working on lots of different things that are not used to that. And so they make it mean a whole lot of stuff. So is there a way you can like train up a guy who's like over eager or just doesn't have any moves? Or like what can you do to maybe help that guy get out of his own way?
In terms of texting you're talking about.
Yeah, like texting. Yeah, texting is a thing. Or like, yeah, let's just start with texting.
Texting too much. You want him to text less or text better?
Probably both.
Okay. I deal with this a lot from the male point of view with women, but I would imagine it would work both ways. I almost entirely coach men, at least in depth, but there's a lot of things that would go for both genders. So what I recommend a woman do, or a guy for that matter, is to lead the texting conversation a little bit. And a man should be doing this, but hey, sometimes we need help.
Right.
Lead the dance a little bit to a place that is more enjoyable for you. I think that women, you tell me, Marni, I think it's not that women mind too many texts. They mind too many texts that are boring and lame and suck, right?
Yes.
Boring, logical, how's your day? What'd you do yesterday? How are you? Like that's basically a nothing text.
Yeah.
However, if a boring single guy says, "Hey, Emily, how was your weekend? How was your day?" Then what she can do is say, "Well, this is not interesting to me, but I like the guy. I think there's a good guy in there to like. So let me try to spike the punch a little bit." She might answer that question and then start asking better questions. Basically, ask him good, stimulating questions that he's not asking. For example, instead of "How's your day?" it might be she might reply, "Oh, you know what? I had a life-changingly great plate of ricotta and oatmeal pancakes that made me see the face of God."
Oh my God. Now you're making me want pancakes. Okay.
What about you, Mike? Let's go back to Mike. What about you, Mike? What was the most amazing thing you ate this weekend? What was the most delicious thing? And now you're talking about delicious snacks and food and cookies and snacks, which I'm not saying it's Shakespeare, but it's better than "How's your day?" It's talking about something that's kind of fun. So it's like dating crack, talking about food, wine, drink, fun adventures. In other words, steer the conversation. If he's not making it interesting, try to overcompensate a bit and help him along, because maybe he just doesn't understand that women don't want to talk about the news or or politics or how their day was. They want to have a little fun. Or also, you could also start flirting a little bit and see if he follows.
Okay.
And flirts back, because who doesn't like to flirt?
Yeah, flirting is good. Okay, so this is so amazing. Okay, so what if, because I'm throwing out all my people's situations. What if you're stuck in that endless text loop and the freaking guy doesn't ask you out? Like, it's just, and I see these in their inboxes online. I see it on texting. There even some of them are saying like, "Oh, I'm so excited to see you." Like, next week I'm totally free. Or he'll say, yeah, have you seen blah, blah, blah? And they're like, yeah, I'd love to see that. And then they go, oh, my dog is, has an appointment at the vet tomorrow. That kind of thing. What do you do?
Yeah, again, it's, instead of dropping a handkerchief, she might need to drop a quilt, a blanket, something a bit more obvious, because many men are clueless. I speak as a once very clueless man. So, I remember a girl, or a woman I write about in the book, who I was love's a strong word. I was infatuated with her. I was really into her. And I was afraid to ask her out. I was afraid she was going to say no. And so I just it was a texting chain to nowhere. And I remember she asked me, she was asking me about my schedule and what I was doing on a certain day or part of the week, and I told her, and she said, oh, well, I guess we're not going to be able to get those drinks then, like a sad face. Now, even I could take that hint. And I said, oh, well, when we could get that drink, we could get it on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then we did meet up. So a woman can look for opportunities to basically drop that bath towel and let him know that she's available. It could be something like, by the way, I'm looking pretty free for this coming weekend. Are there any cool bars, lounges, XYZ thing, anything that you were thinking you'd like to do? And basically say, ask me out, dude. I'm basically telling you to ask me out. It's not ideal. Hopefully, a lot of men would be able to get the hint sooner than that. But a lot of it it's not that men don't know what to do so much as that we're afraid. Everybody's afraid of rejection, right?
Yes.
That's the big bad wolf of dating. It's rejection. And that's what ghosting is about. That's what friend zone's about. It's fear of rejection. So a lot of men, it's not that we're not asking because we don't know we should. It's that we're shy, or not shy, sorry. We're afraid of getting rebuffed. So anything women can do to let him know that the answer will be yes when he asks, then put that out there, right?
I think it's a great idea. One of my favorite things is, hey, so if you asked me out, I would say yes.
That's even more direct. That's awesome. I've had a woman say, so Connell, when are you going to ask me out? I mean, that's you can be that direct. Some men need that kind of directness. You could play a little bit of a game here, a fun game where both know what's going on. Like, I've been messaging women saying, have you ever had a date with a dating coach? And they almost always say no. And I say, well, I happen to know someone. He's charming-ish. He's slightly above average looking. He's got ginger hair. What would you say to that? I know she's interested. So a woman can kind of drop those little crumbs isn't the right word, like clues. So have you ever asked a woman? It could be like, so have you ever asked a woman out who, something specific about you, right? Have you ever asked a woman out who runs marathons and has a dog named Pete?
That's so cute. I like that.
Tee him up to do it. I just made that up. It's pretty.
I love that.
I think it would work.
I think that's so good. They're flirty and they're playful, right? Instead of like closed down and pissed off. So I'm curious, when a guy comes to you, he's either feeling lack of confidence or he doesn't know what to say. Is there a time where a woman would say, you know what, like, I think this guy just still he has more work to do? Like, how would a woman know, like, you know what, this guy is just never going to he's not confident enough, or he's not, like, is there a sign where somebody's just not emotionally available enough to really be in a healthy relationship, even if they're sweet or well-intentioned or whatever it is?
Yeah, this is a bit more of a gut feeling, but you want to look for multiple pieces of evidence that a guy is like that. And for example, I use my ex, Lorraine. This is many, many years ago, but I was basically not man enough for her at the time. I was not ready for Lorraine.
Okay.
Lorraine, intelligent, sexy, amazing, at the time, pre-med student. Now she's this incredible doctor. And frankly, I was just kind of learning to date back then, and I wasn't man enough for her yet. And I was able to put a good front up for a few dates, but she noticed that I wasn't available on weekends. I was too selfish. I was too focused on Connell time. I wasn't focused on relationship time. There are all these little tells, like in poker, we have tells.
Yes.
And she just kind of noticed that she didn't feel about me after 4 or 5 dates in the way she felt like those first couple dates when it was all fresh and new and that the romantic momentum was enough for both of us. And she ended it after 5 or 6 dates. And she didn't put it in these words, but I'll put it in the words that I felt in retrospect, which is, oh yeah, you just weren't enough man for me yet. You have some growing up to do. And that was completely true. I wasn't quite where I needed to be to date somebody like her. And so there wasn't one thing, but I guess as a woman, you want to give that guy a few dates, give him a little time, and notice if there's multiple pieces of evidence. Like he's not emotionally available, he never opens up, he does, like, you talk about the future, you talk about things together, and he shuts down, doesn't talk about the future, maybe. Or if you just feel that gut feeling of, oh man, this guy's not a man yet. He doesn't have that backbone I want. I know a beautiful, incredible woman, former model and just really amazing person, who dumped a guy. I think this was a little bit harsh, but I know why she felt this way. She dumped a guy because he literally didn't know where they were going. They got lost looking for a bar or a restaurant. He was like, oh, it's over here. No, it's over here. And she just felt like, I can't follow this guy because he doesn't know where he's going in life. He also doesn't know where he's going to get us to that wine bar. And he was done. So
that's just so funny because literally my husband can never remember where he parked the car. And I sometimes when I'm feeling super bitchy, I'm literally like, oh my God, which is really mean. But sometimes I'm like, I just need you to find where the car is. Yes. But he's a great guy.
Be a man, find the damn car.
Yeah, be a man. But that's so look at that rule, like be a man, find the damn car. But I totally get that when you add it up to a whole lot of different things, especially if you're not saying like, hey, I'm feeling this and this is something I'm curious about, or you're finding out more information, or you're making requests, right? Like it's really important for me too, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I have 2 specific questions. I know we're running out of time, but I have to ask you them because okay. I speak on behalf of all women. Okay.
Look, we have 7 billion people are talking right now. I represent half of them. You represent the other half.
That's so good.
It's amazing. We're like the United Nations.
We are. Oh my God. Okay. I also have clients who say like it's going well. They're texting with someone. They're starting to have initial communication. Maybe they even have the first date planned or they've gone on the first date. And a guy starts calling her honey or baby or sweetie or depending on how old they are, dear or whatever the hell it is. And I'm always sort of like give them the benefit of the break. But a lot of women get super creeped out by it. Why do guys do this? What can in your words, like, is that a thing? Is it not a thing? And what would you say to stop it if it makes you uncomfortable?
Yeah, that just sounds like a huge blind spot that a given guy has. So you're talking like 1 or 2 dates in saying, honey, sweetie.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, baby, how's it going? Or like, how was your day, honey? So stuff like that. And they're just like, blah.
Yeah, I've never personally dealt. I've had just about every problem. I never did that. I'll say that.
That's so
the one thing I never did was, hey, honey, babe. Hey, honey bear. On date 2. Oh, maybe as a joke. But that, to me, that's an example of just social miscalibration on the guy's part. Doesn't know how to talk to somebody who he's getting closer to, but not necessarily intimate with, or you just haven't really earned that right. Is that a deal breaker? Probably not, depending on other factors. But in terms of why it happens, I think I would put that under the category of, oh, he just doesn't know better. He thinks that maybe because you kissed on the first date, all of a sudden you're sweetie now. Well, this is obviously not the case.
Yeah.
So I do what I do. Just call every woman sugar bear.
Oh, God.
Then you're fine. I'm just kidding.
Oh, God. Oh my God. That's so funny.
You know what's better, actually? This is more of it. Well, it's a tip for a guy, but it works on me too because my ex used to do this to me. If you come up with a genuine, authentic nickname from a conversation you had, then it becomes actually sexy and fun.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I recently had a first date. It was literally my first post-pandemic date, but before we met in person, we were talking on the phone. We were just like talking about cookies a lot, cookies and brownies, and we just talked about how I think the kind of cookie you eat reveals your soul. Anyway, that's the whole.
Oh my! Wait. So what's your cookie?
Well, my cookie is peanut butter cookie with the slightly melted chocolate kiss on top.
Oh my God. Okay, carry on. I love it. Okay, so you were talking about cookies, and I'm going to have to go eat cookies and ricotta pancakes, and it's your fault. Okay, go ahead.
I'm still a chubby little redhead inside, so the cookie reminds me of childhood. But anyway, so this woman who I was talking to, I started calling her Cookie. But I earned it.
Yes.
It was a little bit of a. It's a little bit of a not sarcastic. It's a little bit of an ironic cookie, but she loved it. She was like, "Oh, you talk to me like Sinatra, hey Cookie." Hey,
oh my God, that's so cute. That's very playful and flirty.
Yeah. So if you're gonna find a quick nickname, then do it from something that comes organically out of the date or the conversation. My ex, on our second or third date, she started calling me Ginger Man because I'm a redhead. So she's like, "Hey, Ginger Man, when am I seeing you again?" And all of a sudden, I was like, "Wow, I like it when she calls me Ginger Man," because it came out of an organic place. So that's my tip. Is make those nicknames real and specific based on something that just sort of bubbled up in the conversation.
I think that's brilliant. Okay, now
Thanks,
oh my God, pumpkin latte? Oh my God, I love cookies. Cookies are like literally my favorite thing in the whole world.
What's your go-to number one?
I want a chocolate chip cookie that is like soft with like giant chunks of like melty chocolate. No Chips Ahoy Crispy Crunch shit for me. Yeah, I like a soft cookie.
Because soft it's homemade, it's from scratch. It probably reminds you of home, childhood, coziness.
Gooiness. And you know what I learned? Gooiness. I have this is my third kid who is in college. The other two are done. But on every college campus I've been to, which isn't that many, but enough, there's this place called Insomnia Cookies. And basically they're open all night. And you can go there as like a person who may have imbibed in too much alcohol, and you can get a damn giant ass hot cookie with ice cream on it in the middle of the night. And I really am happy they didn't have that when I went to college.
Wow.
Or I would have. Yeah. Anyway, I digress.
I just gained 3 pounds. Listen,
exactly, because they're all going to go. Okay, you said you like studied with all these maybe not the best dating coaches, but you really have like an inside look at all the bad information that's out there. And when I'm talking to my clients, I'm like, look, these guys are like Googling the same shit that you're Googling. And not everybody is freaking Marni Batista and Connell Barrett, right? And they're getting bad advice. So do you think right now, and now there's Me Too and like, there's just so much. I always am saying it's so hard to be a guy who's trying to pursue someone because you're not only afraid of getting rejected, but, being perceived as like a perpetrator. It's like hard for guys, right? So we want to have some compassion. But what do you think right now is some of the worst advice that men are getting?
By far the worst piece of advice that's at least that's most prevalent is be an alpha male, show her who's boss. Be a dick, literally. I once had a coach. I have a chapter, and there's a Me Too chapter in my book, Dating Sucks But You Don't, where I talk about how one of my old coaches said to me, "Connell, you're too nice. You need to go out for a month, just be a total dick to women."
Oh,
I was like, well, okay. I mean, I guess I'll try that. All's fair in love and war. I mean, if this is he's telling me what to do. So I remember I went out for maybe 2 weeks at the most. And I said polarizing things, and a girl would be dancing at the bar, like dancing, and I would I would look at her and point, kind of wag my finger and say, no dancing. But not as a joke. I was doing it to be so-called alpha. I felt awful. It didn't work. I once had a double date with my friend Cameron and the woman he was with and a girl he was nice enough to set me up with, her friend. So we were on a double date at a rooftop lounge in New York City. And the woman who was my date is a woman of Asian ancestry. And I dropped a quote-unquote funny joke that used an epithet for Asian people to Arctic silence.
Oh,
it was awful because I had this mask on. I was like, be a bold alpha guy who says what he wants and show the woman who's boss. And I felt awful for everybody there. It was like the lowest point of my life in this area of looking for dating success, because I was like, okay, don't be an alpha asshole.
Oh my God.
Everything changed when I made this huge shift the other way. Because in 2 words, what I teach is I teach people to be radically authentic. Really show them your true / best self. And when I would just go out and be a nice, solid, dorky guy who likes cookies and brownies and Walt Whitman quotes, lots of women like that guy. And I just felt so much more comfortable and cool and confident. And I didn't say stupid jackass things. So I think a lot of men have bought into this myth of be an alpha male, and it's just really toxic. But worst case scenario is it turns men into incels, or it turns them into narcissists, turns them into toxic men. Best case scenario, it turns you into a douche who says things like bra and baller and who wears Axe body spray, and it's all bad. So
it's just all bad, and that's maybe why they take the selfie in the mirror and send you dick pics. Why do you guys let's end with the most often asked question that's never asked. Connell, why do men send dick pics?
Men send dick pics because they would like to have a beautiful woman sending them nude shots. So they just, lacking empathy and lacking understanding of the way women are wired, they think, oh, well, she must want to see my junk. I think that's as simple as that. So it's cluelessness and lack of empathy.
And you don't need to send it back. I mean, I've actually had women who haven't dated in a long time. You got out of a 30-year marriage and they're just new to online dating, and some guy sends a dick pic and they're literally like, am I supposed to send something back? Is that like what we do now? And the answer is no, that's not what we do now.
My current Bumble profile says, I will never send you a dick pic, but I might send you a duck pic.
Oh my God, you're so cute.
Any women out there who might date me, be prepared. I will send you a picture of a duck. Could happen. But yeah, don't send dick pics. Any men who happen to be listening to this, please ever.
Yeah, and tell every man you know.
Yes. My clients aren't really that type of guy. But yeah, there are men out there who do it. And I'm sorry on behalf of all men, since I speak for all of them today. Sorry, ladies.
That's so funny. Sorry for the dick pics. Connell, you're a hoot. Tell all your friends who are guys who are amazing and are single to go find Connell Barrett. I definitely want to have you on my man panel. I'm going to try and have my people talk to your people. I wish you all the best in your dating escapades. I want you to come back on the show just so we can hear like an update.
Oh, it'd be a blast. And I know you mostly have a female audience, and my book is really geared toward men. But if anybody listening has a guy they've friend-zoned or a brother who needs a little guidance, Dating Sucks But You Don't is out there on any online retailer. And it's a fun read no matter your gender. But maybe there's a guy in your life who might want to get some value on having his own hitch. That's who I am.
I think that all of our ladies should actually buy the book so they can understand that men are human, and that you can understand that there's probably an amazing guy who just doesn't know yet what Connell's here to teach, and maybe he's actually a really nice guy. So encourage him. So everybody should buy the book. That's all I'm saying. And it's got a great title. And so there you go. Conversation piece.
Totally. Well, it comes from this. I think the title comes from this idea that a lot of people struggle with online dating, and sometimes you're struggling with online dating. And I tell people, and this is for men and women, you don't suck. Your profile might suck.
Yes.
But you don't suck. And that's the essence of the book. And that's for all people, men and women of any sexual proclivity is, hey, we all have value. We're all enough. We just have to dig deep inside and find that gleaming, beautiful, authentic diamond. And sure, dating can suck, but you don't. And let's find that person in all of us.
I love that. Find your person who'll send you duck pics. Ladies, whatever you do it with some damn dignity. We'll see you next time. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for tuning into today's show. So if being in an intimate relationship in which you feel 100% seen, heard, and accepted by a high caliber man is a priority for you right now, and you're interested in seeing if you're a fit for working with me and my team at Dating with Dignity, here's what I want you to do. Just head over to DWD VIP, that's D as in dating, W, D as in dating, VIP.com, and book a call to speak with my team. We'll get on the phone with you for about 60 minutes, and you'll get crystal clear on what's stopping you from finding true love right now. We'll also take a look at what you want to create, what you want your whole life to look like when you're able to finally be fully expressed as a woman in a healthy relationship with an incredible guy. And if we can help you get from where you are right now to where you want to be, we will show you the fastest path possible that makes sense for you to do that. We help smart, successful women all over the world solve this one missing piece in their life so they can finally have it all. So to see if we can help you do the same thing, head over to DWDVIP.com. I'm Marni Batista, and let's talk soon.